Hello, and welcome back. Apologies because I've been really missing in action the last 2 weeks, and I thought I'd better come on and do a little bit of a video, but I feel like I needed a little bit of bandwidth in my brain because so much has been going on, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight and tell you what's been going on in Lisa's world the last 2 weeks since I made the last video. Now, if you're a returning viewer, hello and welcome back. And if you're new here, hi, hello, my name's Lisa. And the main thing I vlog about on this channel is my weight loss. And I have been taking a weight loss injection called Mounjaro. I stopped taking it a month ago, but I took it for 11 months and I lost 3.5 stone. Now, the main reason why I stopped taking it because of the suppression and the nausea, and I just felt like I needed a break. Now, I don't know whether this is it for me, whether I will never go back on it. I don't know whether the big question is, are you going to just go back to your bad habits and regain all the weight? I don't know. But I felt like I needed to give myself a break and to see how I managed. And in this video today, I'm going to share with you my 5 big things that have had probably the biggest impact on, it's not really my mental health, but it's what I've been thinking about on this journey. So during the journey and since I've stopped taking it, it's that transition of can I maintain those habits? So I'm going to share those with you in a few minutes. But yeah, the nausea was just getting too much for me, just all the time. I was beginning to just feel like this is the new normal, and I didn't really want to feel like that. And I feel like I've learned an awful lot over that 11 months of taking the weight loss injection. So I thought I wanted to come off it, give myself a bit of a break, and see how I got on. Now, lots of people, when they stop taking the weight loss injection, they come back down through each level as they go up. So they might go 2, 5, 7.5, 10. That's where I stopped. And then you can go higher. And then some people come down 10, 7.5, 5, 2.5. I didn't. I stopped at 10 and just completely thought, I really believe I'm in a really good place and I can do this, and I want to still try and lose a bit more weight. However, I am looking for the balance in my life and trying to see, have I learned my lesson? Have I learned my binge eating, being greedy, overfilling my plate, and yeah, just all that kind of stuff, really. Anyway, I'm going to share that with you in a second. But first, what on earth have I been doing in the last 2 weeks that has completely just stopped me from picking up the camera? Well, I have picked up the camera a few times and I have recorded a few things. However, it's kind of got like halfway through the day and my brain has just clicked into some kind of brain fog mode. And then I've just stopped and thought, no, I just can't carry on filming through the day. And then after a couple of times doing this, I just thought, I just need a little bit of a break. I just need to get on with, I had so much stuff to do. And I just feel like sometimes when I record it, it really slows me down. So the last video that I published before making this one, I was talking about doing a yard sale. And the yard sale was on a Saturday from 11 till 3. And what has prompted this yard sale is basically we would like to move house. We are thinking about downsizing. However, when I say downsizing, I do mean more changing the configuration of how we live. We have 4 bedrooms. We've got an ensuite, a shower room at the top, a bathroom, and a toilet downstairs. We don't need 4 toilets. Our daughter has bought a house that she's renovating and she's moving out soon. Our son doesn't live at home. He occasionally comes back for a holiday, and our other son hasn't lived at home for years, so he lives away in London. So we feel like we need a bit of a different configuration for living. We'd like a bigger downstairs area, a little bit of a bigger garden, maybe 2 or 3 bedrooms, outbuildings potentially. We don't know whether we would like a period house because we live in a new build now. You know, we would like to be nearer to a train station because we're not really at the minute. So we don't know whether we want a bungalow. We're going to be really, I just feel like I'm going to be a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, we went out and we have made contact with an estate agent in the area where we would like to live the most. And we have him coming tomorrow to do a valuation. So depending on what the house is valued at depends on whether we will put the house up for sale or not, because we're just really still quite unsure what to do. But this is kind of the first step. And a lot of houses, I don't know what it's like by you, but they won't let you go and look at a house unless your house is up for sale or you have a mortgage in principle ready to go. So this is the situation that we are in. However, we can't even go and look at any houses, and they are going really quick. And where we live, they do go really fast as well. So the yard sale was really to start clearing the clutter, and it was really good because it got everything out. And I have been a slave to Vinted and taking photographs of everything. And then of a night, I sit here, and of a night time, I just list and list and list. So yeah, and I've sold loads. I've absolutely sold loads. So I will put the Vinted link in the description if you want to have a little nosy. But things are flying out, which is really good. Every day I'm kind of taking 3 or 4 parcels to the post office of just that kind of thing. And there is tons and tons and tons to come, really downsizing. I even found a box in the garage of things from Lanzarote that I had packed up, and I haven't even unpacked them yet. And we came back in 2011. So one day I think I'm going to sit in the garden and unpack all of that, photograph it and list it. So I have been sorting cupboards and listing things on Vinted. Now I also sell on eBay, and mainly that is a lot of my Avon stock, but I do sell some other random bits and bobs on there as well, some personal things, but it is kind of a business account. Well, it is a business account because my Avon is like a little side hustle business of mine. So I'm still carrying on with that. So I've had all of that going on. Work has been really busy, and I've been doing some different days and some longer shifts. So that has been really crazy. Now, the other thing is Jed's just in the garden. He's just tying up the wisteria and giving it a bit of a cut because it's just gone absolutely bonkers. He's done the one at the front. He puts these like eye holes in and then threads like wire through it to train the wisteria along. So he's currently up a ladder, doing that. He's been sorting out in the garden. The garden looks gorgeous. It really looks beautiful. Kitty is asleep in the cat tree there. I took a little picture of her before, so I'll probably pop that one in and you can have a little look at her. She's a little cutie. The pigeon update for you. The pigeon has now flown the nest and been flying around everywhere, and we haven't seen it for a couple of days. So all I can presume is, pigeon has taken flight and off it has gone. When it came out of the nest, it kind of never really went back in. It was just pottering on the wall and flying here, there and everywhere. But yeah, so there's a little pigeon update for you. Percy the pigeon, we called it. So we had a busy yard sale. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was like really mega busy. I probably wouldn't do it again. It was roasting hot. I was sweltering. And also, I used to do markets for my Avon I probably stopped doing them over a year ago because the toll it takes on my knee was just too much. And that Saturday really reminded me of why I've stopped doing markets, because I was absolutely exhausted and it probably took me a couple of days to recover, which my brain is telling me I can do it, but my knee, even though I've had the cortisone, the knee's not too bad. It's the nerve damage in the whole of the leg, and it creates kind of a bit of an off balance. And my knee's a little bit, my back's a little bit bad today. I feel like my back's gonna go. So taking it easy. I said to Jed, I'm gonna just do a little video, let everybody know what's going on, because they might think I've just like fallen off the rails, but I really haven't. I've just been so busy. So there's been lots and lots of tidying going on in the house. I'm gonna try and do a little bit more on Instagram and put some pictures up of the inside of the house, because my Instagram, when I started it, was really all about the house because it was a new build, and I couldn't find anybody when we moved in here in 2019 with the same house. And it was quite nice to sort of see if anyone did have an Instagram account. It was kind of like a thing people were kind of doing in 2019, 2020, putting lots of pictures on. And I think if you're buying this style of house, lots of people from all over the country sort of find you and comment and stuff. So my Instagram, Lisa Collin Online, that's kind of what that Instagram started off. But now it's just kind of a bit of everything. And I probably use YouTube much more now. I used to use Instagram absolutely loads, but yeah. So my aim is to try and get a bit more on there for marketing and promoting the house sale. So I'm working my way around, taking lots of pictures of the house. I have been back to the gym. I've been really super proud of myself and going about 4 times a week. Now, don't get me wrong, I am absolutely dreadful. And when I say I'm going to the gym, I'm going to a boot camp. And I've worked with this coach for quite a while. She knows my capabilities and she knows I do different things because I have problems with the arthritis in my hands. You don't realise when you have that problem, like you can lift weights a certain way, but then when you lift them a different way and they fall back, the pressure on your sort of thumb pad there really, really hurts. So even though I'm strong, I have to kind of go light on certain things, and certain exercises I have to kind of moderate, but I'm loving it. I've done at least, I've been doing about 4 sessions a week. I'd like to try and get back up to 5 if I can. Because I really, really love going. So sometimes I go at 7 a.m, sometimes I go at 6 p.m. It just depends on what is going on. But this week with work, I had some late nights and I can't go at 7 and get to work for 7:30, because if I go at 7, I don't get home till about 8:10. I need to be leaving home really at 8:10 to get to work for 8:30 at the latest. So it's a bit of a push. So if I'm in work, I normally go of an evening. Yeah, so I've got some holidays left to take. So I'm thinking, I do 2.5 days now. I do 2 long days and a short day. So on my short day now, I'm thinking of using up my holidays. I've got a few hours owed on those short days to try and then throughout the summer, I'll just be doing 2 days a week. What else have I been doing? Oh my gosh, honestly, I can't tell you. It's just been so busy. I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to get time to film anything for YouTube? Now, Jed should have had a pacemaker fitted last Tuesday. However, they forgot to book him in for his pre-op. So he's now having it done this week on Thursday. So I've done a few extra hours to make sure I'm off to go along to the hospital with him. He's having that done on Thursday. So fingers crossed for us, and everything goes well, and he can just have a short time off work, hopefully, and all will be well. Now he feels absolutely fine. There's just like this one little problem that he's having, and the doctors have recommended that he has the pacemaker fitted. Yeah, my son has been home. Did I mention that? He came back. He just came back for 1 night with his girlfriend, and then they've gone on holiday for 8 nights, and then he'll be back for, I think, 1 night. The night when he comes back, he always loves paella. So I ended up cooking 3 pans of paella. So Jack and Jed and Layla's boyfriend Will, they all like mussels. So I do a great big pan of paella with mussels for them. And then me and Jack's girlfriend, we had a chicken and prawn paella. And then Layla hadn't been too well. She'd had food poisoning. Not me. I didn't do the food poisoning. So she wasn't so great. So I just made her kind of like a really simple rice one, just so she could kind of sit down with us and have something to eat. And I did some garlic bread, and it was really lovely. So yeah, I did a big paella. But I find when people are visiting and staying, I don't like filming, I feel really conscious still. And yeah, it's not kind of fair to them, but I have taken some pictures. So I'll pop a picture of the paella in so you can have a little look. But I do enjoy cooking the paella. Oh, back to the pacemaker. There's quite a lot of things that Jed can't use when he's had his pacemaker fitted, and one of them is an induction hob. And he does do quite a bit of the cooking, so that is going to be interesting. So we're going to have to be really creative with the air fryer and the oven. We don't really use the oven, to be honest, that much. We tend to just use the hob and the air fryer pretty much the majority of the time. So, oh, this is turning into a right old ramble, isn't it? If we hadn't have been moving, I would probably have to replace the hob, because like he's got to keep, like, I think it's about 6 inches or something away from it. But if you're putting something on the back of the hob, then that's going to be a bit tricky, isn't it? So yeah, there's loads of things that he can't do, or he can't use, equipment that he can't use. So yeah, moving house, we're probably trying to look to make it a little bit more friendly as we get older, because, you know, okay, I'm only 53. Jed is 60 in 2 weeks, and we don't want to keep moving. We really want this to be our last forever home. I want it to be, you know, this is it. And this house, although I love it, it's never felt like we're going to be here forever. Yeah, when we got this, the kids were still at home. So yeah, very, very different. We feel like we were ready to make that move now to the final downsize, and let's live somewhere for ages. Let's chat about Mounjaro and coming off Mounjaro and how I've been feeling and what has been going on. The main reason for me was just the nausea and the suppression, and I just was feeling nauseous. I can never really say that word properly, all the time. And I just thought, can I do it? Have I learned a lot? Have I learned enough? And I'll be honest with you, I honestly don't know. I don't know if this is it. I don't know whether I'm going to have to do it again in future, find another way or something else that works for me. However, there are quite a lot of meals that I really enjoy that I didn't used to have before. One of them is this kind of breakfast thing. So in the morning I try and, this isn't one of the things, by the way, I'm just kind of rambling a bit here. Yeah, so one of the things in the morning, I don't really eat breakfast, to be honest with you. I try and go as long as I can. However, I have been having the Greek yogurt with a crumble of Weetabix, which I'm absolutely loving, the Weetabix. I do have other granolas and things, but I'm actually preferring the Weetabix. Never thought I'd say that, because I really didn't think I liked Weetabix. A lot of people kind of have it mixed in with milk, but I haven't tried that yet. So yeah, crumble that on, a bit of fresh fruit, and then, or I've got some fruit in the freezer, and then a drizzle of honey, and I'm loving that. Anyway, let's get back to number one thing that has really had an impact on me, and something that I never really thought about prior to taking Mounjaro, and that is overloading my plate totally. Now, I'm not blaming my husband, but I've been talking to a lot of people about this, and we do everything together. We make decisions together, we share everything together, our money goes into one big pot, and everything is equal. And for Jed, when he puts things on my plate, he doesn't think of himself as the daddy bear and I'm the mummy bear. He thinks everything in life is equal, so he puts equal portions on the plate. And I think this has been part of my problem, because he works out twice a day. I only probably work out 4 times a week, although he has been working out less at the moment while he's waiting for the pacemaker. And in his brain, he just thinks, yeah, he's having that. I'm an equal in his life, and he just puts the same amount of food on the plate. And when I first started taking Mounjaro, I used a side plate. Now, if you go back, I've got an amazing playlist. Well, I think it's amazing because I did document my journey from the start, and I photographed so much of the food that I was and wasn't able to eat at the very beginning, and everything I plated up was on a side plate. Now, I don't know whether you have this problem with whoever you live with, or if other people plate your food up, or if you plate your food up and you're using a big plate, but I was greedy, overloading that plate and just kind of like not even thinking about it and just eating. And I have been really trying to make a conscious effort to put less on the plate, and it's still enough, you know. And sometimes I have to say to Jed, I'll plate it up. And, you know, the other day he plated it up and he did a really good job. And he's like, are you sure that's enough for you? And I say to him, give me less than you think, because if I want, I can go back to it. Now, like I mentioned before, I've been off it for a month, and I do feel that the suppression, there was still some sort of suppression for about 2.5 weeks. I feel like that's going. I feel like the noise is coming back. And I'm really trying to control that food noise and the greed and the eating fast. I'm feeling, you know, like I'm listening and I'm knowing it's there, and I'm really, really trying to control it. Do not get me wrong. I am not perfect at this, and every meal and every day is not perfect by any chance, you know, by any means. It's not. I know there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs and there's going to be bumps, but I feel like I've learned so much. But this big thing for me was overloading the plate and really looking at how much food you need. Now, my trainer says losing weight is it's not easy, but if you want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. And she's really helping with the education of calories. And while I'm not calorie counting, for example, the breakfast that I mentioned before, I kind of know what 100 grams of yogurt looks like. I know what 5 to 10 grams drizzle of honey looks like. I know what half or one Weetabix looks, you know, what it is for fibre and protein and you know, calories. And then the fruit, I kind of know, you know, like 6 raspberries, 100 grams of yogurt, half a Weetabix, 5 grams of honey. I know that is about 175 calories. So I know that if I buy one of the big pots of the Greek yogurt for to take to work, which has got 500 grams, I know I can get 5 portions of that in work. So I might have one kind of late morning and one in early afternoon on 2 days, and then I'll have one on my other day. So I know that's going to get me 5 portions, 175 calories. I kind of made it that much now and weighed it that I kind of know what that looks like. That's a bit of a safe space for me because it stops me going and binging. The old me would go and get, you know, an Aero and a packet of crisps. And I don't know how many calories that is because you don't count things like that, do you? So this is like a bit of a safe space for me in work. I've got my Weetabix in work and I've got my honey on my desk. I take my fruit and my yogurt in, and that's in the fridge. So if I get that I need a sweet taste, that's it. Now also, Weetabix, when it's crumbled, I know everyone's going, oh, Weetabix, you should be having it with milk, but I feel like it's a bit like the inside of a Kit Kat. It's really nice. I'm really enjoying it. So I've got all of these things that I feel like are a bit go-to meals. They might be a bit repetitive, but I know once I've made it a few times and I've weighed and measured it, I know I'm in a kind of space, a safe space with it. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. So while I said it's not perfect, I feel like, you know, I'm making a big change. And yeah, Mounjaro gave me the space to think about this and to really, you know, think about what I was putting on my plate. So that is my number one thing that I am carrying forward and taking with me into the life after Mounjaro. The second thing I'm taking with me is watching other people and noticing what other people eat and put on their plate. And I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but going out with other people and watching what other people eat. And I'm not judging other people, you know, please don't think for 1 minute that I'm judging other people, but I find it really interesting. And this started in a restaurant, and restaurants are in competition with each other to basically give you good value for money. And some restaurants pile the food on the plate, and it made me think. I was in this restaurant with some friends and I'd got there late. They'd all ordered. I hadn't ordered, but this was kind of early on in my journey, so I wasn't really hungry. And I'd already looked at the menu before I went and thought I'm going to have a starter. And I don't think I'll be able to eat a main course. And when I got in, all their main courses came and they were huge. They were these huge big burgers with onion rings and chips. and it was a harvester. So they all kind of had the salad bowl as well while they were waiting. And on the menu, it had listed the calories, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, some of these main courses are double what my calorie intake is for the day. So, you know, if my calorie intake I've got to keep to like 1,300, some of these were like nearly 2,000 for some of these meals. And there would have been no way I could have even ordered that and attempted to claim a plate, because I just couldn't. And I can't remember what I had. It was months ago, but I had starter. It might have been a prawn cocktail, or I honestly can't even remember what it was. So, but watching other people tucking into it and then having alcohol on top, it made me think that restaurants are normalizing eating portions this big. And if you've already had your breakfast and your lunch and maybe some snacks, and then you're going out to eat and you're having all of this, and then you're having a dessert and alcohol, you must be into 5,000 calories a day. And it really, really shocked me that, but it's choices, isn't it? You know, like we all have that choice to make. But when you're in these restaurants and you kind of like, you can smell it and it smells amazing, you know, but for me, it was kind of like, I've got to try and make a better choice. And if I am going out of a night, then I've really got to strap my eating in the day and be really, really conscious, or have something smaller and have a starter, or pick a better restaurant. Now, we have been out one night this week and we went to a carvery, and you know, it was lovely, to be fair to you. To be fair, we had a really beautiful meal, lots of veggies, gravy. I did have a Yorkshire pudding and I did have an ice cream. I didn't go for like a big chocolatey dessert. I just had an ice cream with some strawberry sauce, and that was it. That was lovely. My Diet Coke, and yeah, that was quite nice. So I think for me, going out, which we do sort of probably at least once a week. So it's building in the making that work and not going back to being greedy and old habits. Sometimes we go out in the day, me and Jed, if he's off, and we have our lunch out, and we tend to sort of go for snacks and share it, like a sandwich rather than a big meal. And we do that quite a lot, to be honest, and it works really well for us. But if we do that, then our evening meal tends to be something really small, and we tend to sort of have something small either side of eating out, and that's just a conscious thing that that I think now that's what I'd like to do. I don't want to have that feeling of feeling absolutely bloated and stuffed and in a bit of a food coma, if you know what I mean. Like if you've ever eaten too much and you're just like there going, I don't really want to feel like that anymore. So yeah, I think Mounjaro has helped me get into my own rhythm, and it's given me that space to think and allow me to slow down and make different and better choices that suit me better, really. That's number 2. Number 3 is putting myself first. And if I'm not hungry, I'm saying, I'm not hungry. If you want something to eat, then that's absolutely fine. You have something to eat, but not eating because other people want to eat. Now, like I've said before, I think a man who is working out, I can't really compare myself, and I shouldn't be eating exactly the same as what he eats. We were at the theatre this morning, and at 11 o'clock I did have a bacon butty. We don't have it all the time, but it's really nice. It's something we kind of factor in. It's 4 o'clock now. I haven't eaten anything else. I had a couple of coffees. I've got a Pepsi Max, and we are going to have a chicken dinner tonight. We have bought these double chicken breast things, like a crown from Morrison's, really nice. And we're going to have that. I've got some boiled potatoes and some fresh veg. So I'm going to make like a little healthy dinner, and it's not going to be massive. It's just going to be small, and that is going to be our dinner. So those are going to be our meals for today. So what I'm trying to do is really listen to my body and what is telling me, and am I hungry, and not eating because somebody else is eating and somebody else wants to eat. And if they do, and we're out and somebody wants something, sometimes I'll just have a drink. Sometimes if I have like a cake or something, then, if we're out and we're having lunch and or we stop for a coffee, then and a cake, which isn't very often, I'll be honest, then that is going to impact my choices for the evening. And I'm going to try and like really be healthy around that, because at the end of the day, I do love cake and I do love chocolate. And I know that I'm going to have to give myself the odd treat here and there, but it's how I build the rest of the week around that. And that's kind of what's kind of going on in my mind as well. So just because somebody else might want a pudding or a cake, I don't have to have one if I don't want to. And if I do, I can. But I just don't feel like the old me has come back, thank goodness. I'm just like feeling like I'm missing out, feel like, that fear of missing out, that I've got to have everything. If I want to have it, I find a way to have something small, or and I've got to really enjoy it. And if I don't, then I'm saying no. I'm not just saying yes to everything. I'm not going back to the old ways. I'm finding the new ways. And you know what? The world doesn't end. Like when I think back to holidays in years ago where I was overeating and eating to the max at every meal, and then the last couple of holidays we've had, we've eaten a lot healthier and we've still had a great time, still had a great holiday and we still had the odd little treat here and there. We just don't have to have it all the time. And that's something else that I've learned and I've taken along with me. Now, number 4, there are alternatives to cake and chocolate. And like I explained before with my yogurt and my crumbling of Weetabix, which mimics the inside of a Kit Kat, honey and my fruit, that is a bit of a sweet treat for me. And there are other things that I reach for instead of having other things. Now, Jed loves ice cream. I don't mind ice cream. And I will have the odd ice cream treat. However, he could literally eat it every day. He could eat like an ice cream from the ice cream van in the afternoon, and then he could eat like a big bowl of ice cream overnight. And I just can't. I'm just not even interested. But I do sometimes love a sweet treat. And other thing that really helps me is tinned mandarin segments. I just love it. Tinned pineapple, fruit. And we went to the supermarket today and I had what's it called, that apple? Pink Lady. Oh gosh, it was lovely and it was sweet. So for me, am I finding other alternatives to chocolate and to cake? Yeah, but I still do eat things like cake, but I feel like, because I do feel like cake was a big problem for me. However, I do feel like I'm managing it and coping better than I used to, because obviously, I used to eat a lot and I binge a lot, and I do feel like I've learned a lot of lessons. But like I say, I'm not perfect, and I'm happy that I've come off this Mounjaro in the summer and I've got back into the gym, and I am trying to do a walk in work in my lunchtime as well for half an hour if I can, if the weather's okay. I'm trying to sort of manage everything by, but allowing myself those treats as well if I want them, or finding other ways to give myself that little sweet treat that I know that I need. I don't drink like alcohol very often. I don't say I don't drink because, I might have like a little Bucks Fizz or like the odd cider or something, but it is very, very rare. Very rare. So I don't say I don't drink, but I don't really drink all the time. So drink's never really been a problem for me. So I know if drink is your thing that you really love, then your journey is going to be very different to mine. So yeah, cake's my problem. Cake and chocolate. So yes, there are alternatives. Shock horror. And the last thing is, it's my responsibility. And that's kind of empowering, really. I am responsible, nobody else. If somebody else puts too much food on my plate, it's still my responsibility whether I eat it or not. If somebody buys me something that I don't ask for and gives it to me, it's still my responsibility. and I have to manage all of this. Ultimately, I'm the one eating it, and the book falls with me. So it hasn't fixed me, Mounjaro, but it has paused me. It's given me the headspace to acknowledge, understand, and to choose what I want to eat. I decide what I say yes and no to, and ultimately I have to do that every day. And yeah, it's down to me, no one else. And I used to think that saying no was really restrictive, but it's now given me the power to stay a bit more in control. No, learning to say no is hard, but no one's going to do it for you. And if you're on this Mounjaro journey, these are the things that I would say really had a big impact on me. And I'm taking these 5 things into my new journey. Will it work? I don't know. Will I ever go on Mounjaro again? I don't know. Will this work, trying to sort of moderate my diet and incorporate exercise? I honestly don't know. But all I can do is try my best. So yeah, even though I'm off it, I feel like the lessons are sticking. But it's like lots of things, isn't it? Sometimes we learn a lesson and we don't get it perfect, and we have to keep trying. And that's what my days feel like at the minute. They are busy. I actually feel in a really good place, go in the gym, what we're eating, the choices. I feel okay. I'm prepared for my weight to fluctuate. I'm really going to try my best to keep losing weight, but I just want to try and find some balance at the moment. I can feel the suppression subsiding, and sometimes I can hear the chatter of the food coming back, and in my mind I'm talking to that chatter. It honestly is so weird. It's so strange when you find yourself looking in the fridge and you're going, what am I doing? What am I doing back here? Shut the fridge, go and get a drink. Sometimes I do think, am I thirsty or am I hungry? If I think I'm hungry, I have a drink and I think, I know that's ridiculous. But sometimes I am just thirsty. I'm just not drinking enough. I do love my cordial. I'm an absolute Gen X child. I really am. But yeah, there's so much going on that you have to make yourself priority over everyone else. It sounds really selfish. And when you are not that person and you're always thinking about everybody else, your children, your partner, your family, you really have to, I feel like sometimes it's selfish of me when I go, no, I'm not going here, or no, I'm not having that, or no, I'm not eating again tonight, but it's the only way I've found for me to get out of the mess that I got myself in, is by being in control and using that no. It might not be right for you. You might find a completely different way. And if you do, let me know. Talk to me in the comments. Share your journey. Oh God, it's a bit late saying this. I wonder if anyone is actually still listening to my utter drivel, my just ramble. If you are, what can we do? Put me a little flower or a little pink heart or a little pink emoji and in the comments, and I know you're still going to be listening. So yeah, that's kind of like the 5 things really. Portion awareness, noticing what's going on around me, putting myself first, finding better alternatives, and taking responsibility for my choices. I'd love to know what you feel your weight loss journey has taught you. Let me know where you're up to. Are you thinking about taking a weight loss injection? Are you taking it? How many months are you in? How much have you lost? Let me know in the comments. I love reading your comments. I really do. You know, so please let me know where you're up to on your journey, and if you have stopped taking Mounjaro, how are you managing it? What are you doing? So yes, I'm thinking about what am I going to film for you next week? Am I going to? I sometimes find it easier to take pictures and then do a little video and talk about it. So I've got loads of pictures of food that I take. I don't even know why I take so many pictures of food. I really don't, but I do. I have absolutely tons. So my next video may well be what on earth I've been eating the last couple of weeks, because it has been quite good. I'll be fair, to be fair to me. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you like this kind of content. Give us a little thumbs up, drop me an emoji, and yeah, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.